Hey, hey, hey. If you're watching the broadcast, it's Sporty King and goodness to you. I say goodness, of course, because I don't know whether you're watching morning, afternoon, or evening. But isn't it great to have good in front of your salutation? We've got less than 2 minutes for today's message. And it's a day, yeah, Glue Wednesday on a Thursday. Can't we celebrate the day anytime we want? That's like I say when I send my birthday messages out. I say, happy. This is the first day of your next 365. You can. That's why I tell people all the time. Don't wish me a happy belated birthday. Just wish me a happy birthday. I'm going to be this blessing all year. I got 365 days worth of being 69. You think I'm going to just let one of those be celebratory? I say the same to you. And I know people don't like to talk about their age, but you know what? Get over that. That's old stuff. Talk about your age. You weren't guaranteed to get there. Don't you know someone that died at every age that you have passed? One, two, three, four. Go on and count. You can find somebody died at every single age. Now, I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about life. Okay, because that's the key. Are you afraid of dying? Or are you afraid of living? This is what you need to be focused on. So again, we've got now less than 1 minute for today's message. But I wanted to get on a little early too. Also give people a chance to click in. Let me know. This is my interactive day. Let me know where you're watching in from so I can click on you and give you a shout out. But yeah, like I said, yesterday I had a scheduling conflict where I really needed to get the final touches done on my car registration and everything, and I would have had to rush. And I really I'm doing something new with this message, so we'll see. We'll see as people come on, and I welcome them because I'm not going to have my face on there the whole time. So it's going to be interesting, but that's what it's all about. You're supposed to make it interesting. If you're not having fun with technology, technology is getting away from you. And in fact, it's running you because if you're not learning how to use it properly to have fun, then you're relying on it. I don't rely on technology. I make sure I use it properly. So it is now time to let's roll. So let's do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Glue Wednesday. I call it Glue Wednesday because so often we hear people say Wednesday is hump day. And that goes one of the things that goes back to is what I call old school rules, where we used to just say people work Monday to Friday and the weekend. We didn't use the term flex time, though there's obviously always been flex time because you've got the hospitality industry, that's the hotels, the restaurants, you got public transportation, so there's always been flex time. But people just, looked at Wednesday as the middle of a 5-day work week, and they called it hump day. So I decided to put another little positive twist on it because Wednesday is the middle of a traditional 7-day week, regardless of when you work. So Wednesday is the day that keeps the week beginning and the week end together. Therefore, I call it the glue. And notice that when it keeps it together, it puts me in one of my favorite poses, and that's a prayerful pose. And therefore, I said that the glue is for GLUES. GLEU. And that is that God's love. Oops, I forgot to say that this is Glue Wednesday on a Thursday. Since I wasn't able to do that broadcast. Okay, so GLUE, Glue Wednesday. We don't need to hump. We need to find ways to keep it together. And GLUE, God's love undoes everything. Not that God's love will tear things apart, but that things that have been torn apart, God's love will bring them back together. See, when you do it on a different day, it can throw things off for a little bit there, can it? Anyway, let's not worry about that. But look, today I'm continuing my quick peace series, where each of the letters will focus on one of the letters of the broadcast series, which is peace. And yes, I say continuing. I don't know if you heard that, because I've decided that we can always use a double dose of peace. So I'm not going to close the series out today. I'm not going to close it out until next week. And as we've done in the past, during each message, if you'd like to be one of my co-authors of the upcoming message, you can put a word beginning with the feature letter in the thread. I'll tell you next week's letter toward the close, because today's focus is on the letter C. And we have 7 co-authors. Oops, I gotta go. Oh, see, I gotta breathe and recalculate. So peace, P-E-A-C-E, comes from my book Affirmations. P-E-A-C-E, placing eternity above chaos and evil. See, when you know where you're going, when you know and you're living a godly life according to God's will, you know where you're going, you can let this nonsense go. And so you I love it. Wednesday leftovers, and don't the leftovers say, "Ooh, that's good, Pastor McKinley," because that means that the message has marinated a little bit. Because I tried to have it for Wednesday, I knew I wasn't going to make it, so I got a little extra time to think about it. So we're gonna see what I came up with. So this is Wednesday leftovers. We feasted on Thursday. Amen. But like I say, putting chaos, eternity above chaos and evil. When you know where you're going, you can relax and enjoy the trip. Yeah, we got a lot of crazy stuff going on in our lives, but since we know our faith is in God, we're going to be all right. So find a way to be a little bit more compassionate and the way to deal with it. And that's one of the things that this broadcast will do for you, is help you find ways to deal with it. So let's keep on moving with it. All right? So my 7 co-authors are Daphne Francis, who gave me the word command; Jose Valencia, who I call Haas, who grew up one of my childhood friends, gave me the word compassion; Lorenzo Clemons gave me culminating; Shannon Jackson gave me cleanse; Ramona Hopkins gave me captivating and concerted. Now I'm going to let her get away with 2 words and you'll find out why. Rob Ford gave me comfort, and Paul Yohay gave me charismatic. So now, though it's not my goal each week to teach new words, one of the words probably not in your everyday vocabulary, and it actually did not make it into last week's glue, where the feature letter was A, because one of my little sisters, Shannon Jackson, gave me the word absurd, but we had already had the broadcast. But I think it's important to, and I'll tell you why I want to still get it up there. Absurd is an archaic verb that means to cleanse or wipe away, especially by purging. The word comes from the Latin absurgere, abstergere, which is a combination of abs, meaning away, and turgere, meaning to wipe. And the reason I highlighted is because when I told her that the word was too late, and the letter C was the focus for this week, she switched to the synonym cleanse. Absterge is also a synonym for the word cleanse. And though we know what cleanse means, we now know what else it could mean. And that's kind of where today's glue is headed. As our guiding scripture is Proverbs 13:3. Those who control their tongue will have a long life. Opening your mouth can ruin everything. Those who control their tongue will have a long life. Just opening your mouth can ruin everything. Let's see how that leads us to my message today, which is, did you see what you said? And obviously that's my creativity, the C as in the focus letter for today, the letter C. So did you see what you said? In fact, I do a session with my military called, Did You Hear What I Mean? Not hear, did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I mean? It's about communication. So often we decide what someone says instead of really listening to what they had to say. So this is, did you see what you said? Because see, the number one communication skill is listening. And I tell people all the time who are plan to emerging speakers, that the key is to hear what you say. I'm not so much worried about speaking as much as I am listening to what I say, because I want to make sure that I deliver the right words. I want to make sure that I'm telling the truth, because I may not be your messenger today. You may not get what I'm saying until tomorrow. It might not apply to you, maybe a week from now, maybe a month, maybe a year. But whenever the message gets through to you, I want to have delivered the right message. So I always focus on hearing what I say. And that becomes the key. So that's why this one is called, did you see what you said? And I'm going to begin today's message by asking you to actually enjoy a video clip. It's a 13-minute video clip that you may have seen before. It's called "The Homeless Woman Flies in First Class." The homeless woman flies in first class, and I'll be off to the side like so. Where am I? There we go. I'll be off to the side like so, watching your response and commenting as needed. So here is this homeless woman flies in first class.
Whoa. What do you think you're doing?
This is my seat.
Your seat? Nah, there's no way someone like you can afford a first-class ticket. Flight attendant, I need help. Immediately.
Is there a problem, sir?
Yes, a big problem. This bum is trying to take a first-class seat she clearly didn't pay for.
May I see your ticket, miss? Thank you. Sir, her ticket is valid. Please move your bag and let her sit.
Are you joking? Look at her. There's zero chance she paid for that ticket.
Sir.
I'm not about to let some drug-addicted lowlife sit next to me for the next 4 hours.
Are you seeing
this is
what
supposed
he's
to be
saying?
First class, not hobo class.
Sir, this is a completely booked flight.
Are you seeing what he's saying? Is he seeing it? He's already called her a bum, a hobo, and a lowlife.
So either you move your bag and let her sit down, or I get security involved.
You're going to call security on me? She's the one who doesn't belong. Ask everyone else. They'll agree with me. No one wants her in first class.
Sir, I'm going to ask you one last time.
Fine.
And suddenly he represents everyone in first class. Did you hear him say no one else wants her here? And looked around, but no one acknowledged him.
Thank you. Take your seat, miss. Thank you.
Phew. She smells like 3-day-old trash. I mean, really, how do you walk around smelling like that? Don't you have any consideration for other people?
Isn't that a weird question? Don't you have any consideration for other people, as he speaks very nastily about her?
Hey, don't listen to him. You don't smell, and you have just as much right to be here as anyone else. He's just being a jerk.
If you see something, say something.
Would you two please shut up? It's bad enough I have to sit here swimming in her stench for the next 4 hours. But I can't sleep if you two are going to be yapping the entire flight.
I'm sorry, I was...
Save it. No one cares.
No one cares. No one cares. How often have we found that to be prevalent in our society? How often do we even say that? Don't you know that in the tipping the tipping point for someone deciding to take their life is partially because someone says, no one cares. No one cares about me, and therefore maybe I'll take my life by suicide. Everything comes together. See what you say.
Boo! Don't touch me with your gross elbow. This is a brand new suit.
For someone who was so fast asleep, he woke up pretty quick from that, huh? Didn't he? Sometimes people are waiting to try to have an argument with you. In that case, that means you actually have control over them. See, she was actually falling asleep, but he still had her on his mind. So she had rented space in his mind. And that's what happens to us sometimes. We're so busy thinking about what someone else may do or say that we're not comfortable enough to be who we are.
Now it's got your street people germs all over it. I might as well burn it.
I'm sorry, I was just...
Saying you're sorry doesn't stop me from getting TB or whatever other diseases you have coursing through your wretched body.
I wonder if that means you should use Clorox to get a COVID shot. I digress.
Flight attendant.
What is it now, sir?
Hey,
I can't
Lorenzo.
sit next to this degenerate any longer. She just touched me with her germ-covered hands and ruined my brand new suit.
There is...
Lorenzo, what we're doing is watching this video called "The Homeless Woman Flies First Class" as we talk about, do you see what you said? The words that we use and how they impact us
no need
and
to
those
be
around
rude.
us.
She's the rude one. The whole point of being in first class is to be as far away from people like her as possible.
Is
I have a
that
huge
really
job
the
interview
reason?
tomorrow that I'm trying to rest up for, but she's making that impossible.
I don't know what you want me to do about that.
Send her back to the poor people section where she belongs. That's what you can do.
Sir, as I told you earlier, this is a completely full flight.
I don't care. Either you fix this now or I'm going to sue your airlines into Chapter 11.
Excuse me, sir.
Sometimes Karen is a good person. We're going to name this woman Karen, even though that's not really her name. But I know that a lot of times we always say the Karens of the world. But also think about the point of how often you may feel that you're alone. Remember, he said no one cares. You may feel that you're alone. It's just that someone is waiting and waiting their chance and the opportunity to help you. And maybe, they think maybe they don't need to help you. They're just not sure. You're never alone. There's always someone who cares. I'm going to let it roll a little while.
Would you like to take my seat?
Yes. Thank you. I'll take any seat that gives me a buffer zone between me and the smells of this street trash.
Thank you. Uh-huh.
Smells so much better over here.
I want to stop for a second just to say, look at Lorenzo's comment. Thanks for the explanation. You know what? When you're a speaker and someone comes in, if you can catch them up, even if you're running a business meeting, always try to catch people up to where you are. That's a good idea. And what it does is it refreshes it for the people. It's not insulting the people who are there. It refreshes it for them, as well as it helps you move along and get your, reconnect to your thoughts and make sure that your stream is going properly. So just think about those types of options.
Ignore him. Okay? He doesn't speak for everyone on the plane.
Thank you. I just feel bad now you're stuck sitting next to me.
What? No, please don't. I don't know what that guy's problem is, but I don't mind sitting next to you at all. I'm Amina, by the way.
Amy. I have to ask, why are you being so nice to me? I mean, most people see me, they just turn away from me, walk away, get away. But not you.
Well, I just believe in being kind. Something that guy clearly does not share with me.
Well, I wish more people thought that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why are you flying to LA?
Well, it's complicated. Well, how about you? I mean, what brings you to LA?
Job interview. Not just any job interview, like the job interview.
Oh, well, that sounds exciting.
Will you two be quiet?
The future of your business is here. With Wix, you get advanced AI capabilities.
Good comment there, Lorenzo. It helps me to get a better perspective. I have immediate reaction, but I assist in building awareness of the issues. Thank you. Yeah, and I think he's talking about when someone comes in a meeting and you want to, reset the meeting, reset the room. Don't always punish the person. Decide that this person is late. And come on, everything is perspective. But sometimes when someone comes in, you just want to reset the room. You don't know why they've gotten there at the time they got there. But anyway, I'll just drop questions in as we go along. Okay.
It's literally my dream job. And work that I would be doing would be so fulfilling and rewarding. And I cannot believe that I am one of the finalists for this position. It's crazy. I'm totally freaking out about it.
Don't. I mean, if the company's flying you all the way out to LA for a job interview, they must think very highly of you.
Yeah, I hope you're right. It's just like one of those moments in life, you know? Like a crossroads. If I were to get this job, my family would basically never need to worry about money again. And they have sacrificed so much for me to be able to pursue my career dreams and everything. I don't want to let them down, you know. Here. It's them.
Oh, you have a beautiful family.
Thank you. Yeah, they're pretty great. This company that I'm interviewing for really believes in helping those in need. And they don't just talk a good game. They are actually out there making a real difference in the world. And I have always wanted to be a part of something like that. You know, knowing that I'm a part of a team that is not just interested in making money, but also about really making a difference in the world. I mean, it's nothing better than that.
You sold me. If that company has any sense at all, they'd hire you on the spot.
Thank you. I hope you're right. And thank you for letting me talk your ear off about all this stuff. I really needed this. I feel so much better now.
Hey, thank you for coming on such short notice, Mr. Anderson. I trust your flight was comfortable.
I wouldn't have missed this for the world. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity.
Excellent. We just have one more candidate to arrive and then we'll get started.
Hopefully the fact that I'm the first to arrive speaks to my commitment and professionalism.
Certainly doesn't hurt your odds, Mr. Anderson. Ah, you must be Amina.
Yes.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure's all mine, sir. Thank you.
Have a seat. I'll cut to the chase. After sorting through over 500 applications, you two are the final candidates for the VP position. And this is a public-facing position. You'll be interacting with the media and the public on a daily basis. That means you not only agree with our company's morals and missions, but embody it fully in your day-to-day lives.
That's not a problem with me, sir. I live for helping others. That's why I wake up every day.
Great. Because the person that takes this position needs to be kind, understanding, and have a passion for helping those in need. I mean, after all, the whole reason why I started this company in the first place was to make the world a little better each and every day.
Great picture, sir. So
Pictures say a lot, don't they, Lorenzo? Making a difference is also fun ending your center. Is also fun ending your center. The black actor is the nephew of historical actor Canada Lee. No kidding, I did not know that. Thank you for bringing some more perspective to it, Lorenzo. See, you never know when you show something and you show up. Oh, okay, good. Making a difference is also finding your center. Finding your center. The black actor is the nephew of historical actor Canada Lee. So that's what Lorenzo was saying. Making a difference is also finding your center. And I let that play a while because we all know what took place on that airplane. And even if you think about listening to some of the words that he said, how they don't at all apply to the guy and they so much apply to the woman. But the guy is who speaks up and is continuing to play the role. How often is someone playing a role in your life that they don't deserve?
So inspirational.
Let's keep going.
Well, let's start with you, Amina. Do you believe you align with our company's mission and morals?
Yes. I've always believed in being kind. It's a motto that I try to live by every day of my life.
Simple.
She's pulling herself together because she's so disgusted with the guy sitting to her left. Have you ever had that happen? You have to find a way to pull it together.
I like it.
Mottos are nice, but real charity is about more than just words. It's about doing.
That's true, Mr. Anderson. We'll get to you in a second.
And see, sometimes you have to shut down negativity. Don't let, see, the boss here didn't let somebody else take over the interview. Someone will defend you, but it always depends.
Tell me, Amina, what life experiences helped shape your belief?
Well, you see, I used to live on the street for 6 years, actually. Those were some of the toughest years of my life. Most people who would pass me would look down on me or ignore me, or some even said some pretty hateful and dehumanizing things to me. But not everyone. There were some people who were kind and generous, and not because they wanted anything from me, but because they just knew that in their heart it would be a kind thing to do. And I honestly wouldn't be here today if it weren't for those people. They gave me a second chance at life. So I would like to dedicate my life to being one of those people whenever I can. That's why I applied for this position. Because I feel that with your company and the outreach and the influence and the magnitude that you have, the work that I'd be doing would be helping thousands of people every day. And I can't think of a better way to live my life.
I believe in helping people too, but I never had to become homeless to learn this.
How is that for a line? Spoiler alert, it's going to come up again in this presentation, but I just wanted to let it stop and sink in. I had to become homeless. I never had to become homeless to learn the lesson, to care, to help people. Who says you have to become homeless to care about helping people? See, you know, replay this video and you can also find it on YouTube without me interrupting. But just hearing the wordplay, and I love what it goes back to what Lorenzo said about finding your center and knowing who the other actor is. But just hearing the wordplay is so interesting. How often are we on the outside knowing what's going on? It's like when we're watching TV and we can see that what's going on with the characters that they don't happen to know, because that's what the show is all about, them getting to know these things. Let's keep going.
Lesson. I was born with it. It comes as naturally to me as breathing.
Yeah. Okay, send her in. Before we continue, I'd like both of you to meet someone special on our hiring
Watch
team.
the mood in the room change.
Here she is. You two might not recognize her, but this is
Amy? Oh my God, you look incredible. So good to see you again.
Wait, you're the homeless woman from the plane? But you look so normal.
That's because she was pretending to be homeless. I put her on that flight as a test to see if either of you actually believe my company's mission, or if you were both just chasing a paycheck.
People like to say the devil is busy, but God sometimes puts the obstacle in your way to see where your heart really is.
You get to see someone's true character when you see how they treat someone less fortunate than themselves. Hence, my little test.
God is always testing.
Amy, tell us how they did.
Well, Mr. Anderson here failed the test miserably. Not only was he rude, but he was intentionally cruel. He took pleasure in making a public spectacle of humiliating me.
That's a lie.
While Amina was kind and gracious. She went out of her way to help me. It made me feel like a human being of value, even though she stood to gain nothing by doing so. Her actions clearly back everything she says about wanting to make the world little brighter.
Thank you, Amy. Your choice is clear.
Now wait a second. You tricked me. That's not fair. This is my job, and I'm not leaving here without it.
I don't think that's your choice. Will you show Mr. Anderson out?
So get your hands off of me.
The position is all yours, Amina. You've more than proven worthy of it, and I know you'll make me and the company proud.
I got it?
Stand.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, congratulations.
I promise I won't let you down.
I know.
This is going to change my whole life.
So how was that? Let's look at some of the lessons that we learned from that video. And I'm going to do a combination of connecting it to the words to our co-authors. And oops, there it is. That was the video. I'm going to do a combination of connecting it to our author's words and just making some comments as well. Let's get this there. Okay. Yeah. See, sometimes we're judgmental and so small that we can't see how we disconnect from others. Look at the question is, who do people see when they hear you? Who do people see when they hear you? Look who's not connected in this video. And then look that's one of the comments he made. She's the one who doesn't belong. But guess what? He's the one. I'm not about to sit next to some addicted lowlife. He's the one who's not connected to what's really going on in this world. So who do people see when they hear you? Daphne's word, command. I believe that we have to understand that the interview starts when we walk out your door. Okay? You're always interviewing to be a better you. I don't compete with anybody. In the video, the lines under them says where the boss, the interviewer is saying, you two are the final candidates from 500 applicants. But the interview starts they're not competing with one another. What did he have them do? He had them competing with themselves to see who they were on the plane. And that's why the comment from Amy, the company that I'm interviewing for, that's not from Amy, the company I'm interviewing for really believes in helping those in need. Those are the words coming from Amina that are being planted into the person who the interview is really about. So you compete with yourself to be better than you were last time. And it's also what I call interviewing on offense. So often we interview on defense where we want to hope we get the answer right, where we should be interviewing on offense, where we know that what we believe is what we stand for. So therefore, we're on offense. We're not on defense. We're not hoping the company hires us. We're checking to see if this is a place where we want to be. As Lorenzo, who are you? Why are you? And are you really you? And these are just questions that we really need to ask ourselves. And more importantly, be honest about the answers. Because this is what people are saying as they listen to you. Well, who are you and why are you this way? And is that really who you are? We need to answer those exact questions, and that will change how we respond to those around us. So always remember that you are being interviewed. You are in command of the next phase of your life because it's between you and God. So you are in command according to his commandments. You are in charge. You are in charge. Then look at compassion. Oh, wow. I love this one. You see, compassion equals connection. When your words are duplicate, you are most powerful. Look at that. She said, let me see if I can make this even. No, I can't make it bigger. But what you can see is she said, oh my God. And not only because they wanted anything from me, but because they were nice. She's talking about when she lived on the streets. And then boom, then Amy said, even though she had nothing to gain, by doing so. She spoke to her on the plane. They're saying the same thing. And then she said, when you see how people are to those less fortunate, you see who they really are. That was the boss saying it. And no, that was Amina saying in her interview that when you see how they treat someone less important than you see themselves, then boom, guess what? The boss said the same thing. When you see how they treat someone less fortunate. So that's the thing, compassion. And this is where I stopped during the film to say where he said I never had to become homeless to learn that lesson. But he actually obviously has not learned it. But I say compassion is important because I may not have been in your shoes, but I sat in your row, because all of us have been through something and all of us are still going through something. I say that to all of my audiences. I don't know. I will never say, because remember, I hear what I say. I don't say, hey, I've been in your shoes. I know how you feel. I don't know. I don't. But so I haven't been in your shoes, but I've sat in your row. I don't know what Lorenzo is going through right now as he's on the broadcast. I don't know what you're going through as you're on the broadcast, and if this message is for you and getting through to you. But I know I have to deliver it properly, because I know that it means something to me, because I've been through some things. I haven't been homeless like Amina, but that's the key. Have you been through something? Compassion is not about just deciding, hey, you need to, I had to learn that lesson. No, it's, do you understand that someone's going through something? You didn't even have to experience it. So his funny thing is, his comment is actually true. I didn't have to to become homeless to understand what it means to be homeless and to want to help people. I had to just recognize that I have done some things that I needed help, and therefore I should be willing to have that same grace. Sometimes your negativity, what did the Bible say? What you meant for evil, God meant for good. He'll turn your negative words around and make this somebody else's positive affirmation. And then the next one, on this one, I also, what I told you, one of the things I want to do is, first of all, saying how you make people feel is important. How do people say you are? Well, saying how you make them feel is important. And this is where I said to you, I let Ramona have two words for a reason, because this is where I'm also going to do another thing, and that is remember to take my flowers. So you see, a lot of times we don't take our own flowers when people compliment us. But this is what a compliment Ramona gave to me. Captivating is a perfect word choice for you, because you make a concerted effort to keep us interested every week. Feel free to use captivating, concerted as my word choices for this week. Have a great week. And see, so I thank Ramona, and I'm going to thank some of my other co-authors, and not that you needed to write something nice about me to get that in there, because at one point or another, I've got something nice from all of you. But it's a kind word. How do you make people feel when they say who you are? Are you captivating the right spirit and making a concerted effort to treat people well? I do. I don't treat everybody well. There are people, as we'll see in another slide, there are people who I may have treated them well, and then I find out that they don't deserve my good treatment. Or let me take that another way and not take it back, because I said it. But what I meant is, let me say, they don't deserve me keeping them in the spot that they were in. And you have to recognize that. You can treat somebody good, and then after a while, if they abuse that treatment, you have to take it back. So they don't, in a way, they don't deserve it, but we don't want to say it in such a harsh way. So like I say, I'll just say, hey, I no longer treat them in that spot. And that's what you have to do. So saying how you make people feel is very important. And then charisma. I wanted to show what this one is don't take words for granted. This is one of my little brothers, Paul. He said, charismatic is a word I would use to describe you. And I say thank you to him. But here are some of the words used by that guy, right? He says it speaks to, what is it? speaks to my commitment and he's puffing himself up before the other interviewer gets there, right? Speaks to my commitment. Hopefully, the fact that I'm here proves that I'm more professional, and I believe in helping others, and I live for helping others. But here's the bottom line. You see at the bottom, it says you get to see someone's real character when they're going through trials and tribulation. But here's something I found on the internet from an interview with a Dr. Ryan Sherman, who's a renowned charismatic charisma and personality expert. Charisma is often viewed as something positive, but it equally is something negative that people use to trick or persuade those around them. We love our politicians who are charismatic, but they are the same ones who often let people down. So charisma, I know that Paulie was saying that to me in the positive way, but I just want to say to you, know that words have more than one meaning. Sometimes people will trick you with their words in order to get you to comply. Listening is the number one communication skill, and understanding. Maybe remember the session I told you about that I teach called "Did you hear what I mean?" Not did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I mean? So sometimes get clarification when someone is saying to you, because they may be insulting you and you don't even know it. And so often that's what happened. And we're going to see it in another slide with this guy again, where, you have to listen to what someone is saying to you. Okay. And then don't take words for granted. And then see, glue helps us keep it together, not hump. You have to choose to connect to the positive. And this is what Lorenzo said when he gave me his word culminating last week. And I said, yeah, we want to not end things, but bring it all together. And he said, I like that. Bring it all together. We're not ending it. We're bringing it all together. And that's it. So what did the boss say? Hey, the choice is clear. Once someone sees who he saw who he was really interviewing, he said, the choice is clear. This is who I'm going to hire. I put it on that plane, and I stopped it during the video. I put on the plane as a test. God will put people in your life to test you, to see who you really are. Don't always jump to give the devil credit. God is the ruler of my life for the good and the bad. I believe that. It's not that I'm so naive or anything, but it's similar. What did Lorenzo say? Jim Jones in Guyana was charismatic, right? Don't drink the Kool-Aid. See, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, if I believe in this person, or in my case, this deity, then that's where my actions flow. So I know that God puts the enemy in my way, in my path, because that's he says. In fact, and I don't, I always say I don't quote the Bible, I use it, but it says, I don't need you. Jesus said, I don't need you hot or cold. I don't need you lukewarm. I need you hot or cold. You either believe in me or you don't. And so, and it's funny because I had a good conversation with a good friend of mine, Ronnie, the other day, Ronnie Bryant, and we were talking about people who get angry with God based on things that happen in their life. And I said, you know what, Ronnie, I've never been angry with God, but I know plenty of people who have said that. And the fact that they've talked about it, they come around and say, well, I was, but I'm okay. I'm no longer. So it's not that you are or not. In fact, my niece, Sierra, who I had lunch with last week, she was talking about how some people say to her, well, if someone dies and they don't come back to you in a dream, that's a problem. Everybody's got this way of looking at things. So, the choice is clear. But now you see with his second picture where it says, this is going to change my life. That wasn't him talking. That was Amina talking. This is going to change my whole life. Having that job, being in position to be a blessing, that changes your life. See, when you get to bless someone, it changes your life. But you've got to be in position. But you got to put yourself in position by what? By being who you are. Hey, what's going on, Robert? Coming in from Chicago. Haven't seen him in a long time. And found out that this brother who I've known for years has a wonderful golden voice and is a musician. You find out things from people when you put yourself in position to be a blessing. The choice is actually clear. But sometimes we procrastinate and find reasons to not make a choice because we're wondering and sometimes worried about how someone else will see us. And some of it comes with age. As they say, as you get older, you learn not to care so much about what people are saying. And I don't knock younger people, because I know that when I was younger, sure, there were times where I was concerned about how somebody else saw me. So it's the self-esteem process that we all have to go through. And so what Lorenzo said, if God is driving, he asks you to pay for the gas, don't complain. Reach for that credit card. And don't ask whether or not he wants unleaded, premium, or diesel. Know that he has put you in the car. You are the you know what, Lorenzo, that's one of my friends' fun saying, that God is on the planning committee. We're on the implementation crew. We're in the passenger seat. So, so sometimes, really sit back and and you know what, as a driver, how often, if you're a driver, how often do you sit in that passenger seat when you're in somebody else's car and you've got what they call the invisible brake, where you're putting your foot on the brake while the other person is driving because you drive differently than they do. And you're like, wait, I would have hit the brakes a little sooner before we got to that light, or we're getting close to that car. So I actually focus and concentrate. A lot of times what I do is not look straight ahead, because it makes me think about how I drive. A lot of times I'll look out the side window and have a conversation. And also if I'm the passenger in an Uber, I know that I am not the driver. Sometimes you are not the driver. And so you have to chill out and let God, do the driving, and you just pay for the gas. And how do you pay for the gas? With your faith. With your faith and your belief in God. Because what does he say? Who do you say I am? That's how you pay it. Brake and the steering wheel. Yeah. Yeah, right. When you're over on that passenger side, you know about it, Lorenzo. A lot of us do. Okay, but here's the other thing. What I said on this, you have to choose. So the choice is clear. Here's the choice. You have to choose to connect to the positive. That's a choice. Negativity is coming. You have to choose to connect to the positive. And remember earlier I said my little sister Shannon had switched her words. This is what I liked about what she did. She went from absterge and she got a synonym, which was cleanse. And so it's not enough to say it. You have to put the negative spirits down and out of your life, because they won't just go away. Here's some of the things that this guy was saying. You tricked me. Now, Will, wait a minute. That's a lie. That's not fair. You tricked me. This is my job and I'm not leaving here without it. See, the negative spirits won't just go away like they should. Maybe they did not win the election. Maybe they just need to go away, but they won't. They will continue to sit there and fight as if they own what was once theirs. But remember, this is where that charisma comes in. People figured out, yeah, you charisma, you said all of this, but it's not true. And I'm no longer going to continue to support you or believe that. They're not going to go away lightly. They're going to go away angrily, because they can't believe that they didn't have to change their demeanor to beat someone like you who didn't seem as nasty and aggressive. Because that's what this guy, remember the first thing he said to the woman, even before she sat down, wait a minute, where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? Okay. And she just was going to come to her seat. A lot of times that's how people feel when you come in to sit next to them. Sit down anyway. She was a little hesitant, but you sit down anyway, because you don't know who you're seated next to. In fact, let's go on and find that out. You never know when you're entertaining angels. And Rob Ford said to me, comfort is what I feel when I hear your glue messages and the comments from the family. Because of your messages, I have pulled out our family Bible out of the box and placed it on my desk for daily readings. Not sure what I'm doing yet as I bounce all over. You don't have to read the Bible one specific way. That's the beauty of the Bible. The stories connect here and there. And in fact, you have to find the connections. That's the beauty of what the Bible is all about, because it's the same story over and over. They use the same numbers in the Bible. They use the same scenarios. It's like the TV shows. The names have been changed to protect the innocent, and then sometimes they have been changed to increase the blessing of the new person. So Rob, start wherever you are. When I first started reading the Bible, I used to just open and read wherever I was. And then I finally got to where I said, okay, I'm going to read it as a novel, my first full reading. And then the next reading, I read it backwards. And then the next reading I read it, I'd start with one in Old Testament and one in New Testament. And when I read, another time I read it where I would go from Genesis and Revelation and read, from alternate from the back and the front and read till I got to wherever the middle was for me. You figure out how you're going to read the Bible and use it, because it will use you. And that's the comfort. And so, but don't. And then also I say, don't forget to thank one more person, because you never know who has the final say. Look in that upper right-hand corner. You sold me. That's who the client was. It was Amy. God put her on the flight, but that's who had the decision. What did Lorenzo say? How many times has someone said, "I'll fix you," meaning they're going to come back at you negative? Right. Yeah. Oh my God, good one. Yeah, wordplay where someone says, "Yeah, I'm going to fix you." No, a lot of times, "Yeah, I'll fix you." That means, "Yeah, I'm going to get back to you." Yeah, you have to. Good one, Lorenzo. Listen to what people say, and because it's also the context. When you relook at that video, as Robert McKenzie, who got on there with me, we're friends from Toastmasters, and one of the things we learn is that 93% of your communication is nonverbal. Only 7% of your communication are the words you use. 55% is how you look. 37% is your tone. So therefore, you have to look at people, look at the situation, and then add their words to the equation. But I like that. And so look what the angel is saying. Amina said, if that company has any sense at all, they'd hire you on the spot. Isn't that what happened? Because she hired her right there in that airplane. That's when she hired her. And so I say at the bottom where it says, don't forget to thank others. Now, Lorenzo, similar to how we talked about glue, let's change our language a little bit. See how that says, don't forget to thank someone, because you never know who has the final word. I want to change that to remember to thank one more person, because you never know who has the final word. See, make your vocabulary positive. Don't forget. No, say remember. I hope I don't forget. No, I hope I do remember. It's a small change, but that change in your vocabulary can make a whole difference in your life. Isn't that what she said? This is going to make a difference in my whole life. And so she thanked the boss who interviewed her. Oh my God, thank you. Ooh, remember God who put stuff in your way? Oh my God. But then thank you also, Amy. Yeah, don't forget to thank one more person, because you never know who was the one that really helped you out. So remember, always, think about, did you see what you said? When you look at what words my co-authors had, and they all made a difference. And so I do thank all of my co-authors once again for bringing me your words and helping me. If you'd like to be a co-author of next week's message, I got a little twist for you. Okay, next week I want you to put one word, begin with any of the 5 or the 4 letters in the word peace. Put any word beginning with any of those letters, and I'm going to make you one of my co-authors for next week for the closeout of the peace series. But I want you to, if you're receiving it through my email, you know that you can just put it in an email message. But remember, God's love undoes everything. Thank you for joining me to get through another storm, because we're always getting through storms. But these are glue moments and reminders. And as Lorenzo said, what a great glue moment, right? See, we don't practice this stuff. It just comes. But thanks for helping me get through another glue moment where God's love undoes everything, reminding us we don't need to hump. We don't need to bust our butt. We need to find ways to keep it together. In fact, I even tell people when they say, well, I'm hanging in there. I said, well, let's talk about holding on, because hanging don't sound so good. In fact, in my Bible study this morning, it talked about how they actually didn't execute people by hanging them back in biblical times. They stoned them or ran them through with the sword. What they hung is the remains as an insult to the person, to show that this was a sin, that they hung them. They hung either their body or their body parts, but they didn't hang them as a way of executing them back in biblical days. So don't hang in there. Hold on. You don't have to hump. You got to find ways to keep it together. And that's what we do every week here on Wednesdays, Glue Wednesday, where God's love undoes everything. Not that it will tear it apart, but that which has been torn apart, God's love will put it back together for you. So peace. Thank you for joining me. And if you're watching the video, you can still put a word in there, one word, beginning with any letter in the word. And then we'll use that in next week's broadcast. Boom. What you got, Lorenzo? I like when I hear the term, you remind me. Yeah, it applies to so many things. Yeah, you reminded me. Yeah, you reminded me. And no, instead of, oh, I forgot about that. And again, nothing wrong with what you say. But how about finding another way to say it so that it can be even more right with how you say it? So yeah, I like the term, you remind me. Thanks for reminding me. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So I'll let some final words get in the thread. I always like to do that. Thank you all for staying with me for a little extra long time. I got to tell you the truth, I hadn't actually planned to stop the video and make comments, but I saw how appropriate it was. And sometimes that helps the learning. So I hope that was helpful to you as well as we go. So I'm going to do a countdown, but put words in the thread that we begin with a P, E, A, or a C. Don't say, oh, I put a word for each of the letters E. Nope, there's only one E. So put a word for any of the 4 letters in the thread, and I'll get them in for next week's message. Lorenzo, pernicious is my P from peace. Amen. Pernicious, and I actually know that one. Don't put it in there. Make me do my work and find out what pernicious is. But because I remember when Daphne put in last week, she put in a word, and you sometimes there's a word in your vocabulary that you don't totally know. And Lorenzo is so good at putting them in there, but Lorenzo, I appreciate you. And that's why I want you to let me do my work this time and look it up for you. I appreciate you, my brother. So I want to be able to give you even more service there. That's a good one. Pernicious, because it almost sounds like anxious. It almost sounds like, yeah, I want to get something done, pernicious. Okay. I'm not going to, so I'll have it on the video to know that I didn't know what I was talking about or that I did, but let me move on with a countdown. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you. God bless you, and have a wonderful week.